forces have launched a fresh round of strikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen in response to the overnight attack against a US vessel. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has accused the Washington-led coalition of illegitimate bombing and creating mayhem in the Middle East.
The US, along with the UK and some of their other allies, have violated and trampled on every conceivable rule of international law, including a Security Council resolution that merely called for the protection of commercial shipping. Nobody gave anyone the authority to bomb Yemen. What is being done regarding Yemen is mayhem. The excuses coming from Washington, I would say, sound pathetic.
Tensions in the region have been spiralling since January the 12th, when US and UK forces began bombing multiple areas held by the Yemeni Houthi group. The Pentagon says the goal of their attacks is to weaken the Houthi rebels. The Yemeni group claims to be targeting ships affiliated with Israel and its allies in a show of support for Gaza. RT's Charlotte Dubensky takes a closer look now at the Houthis in Yemen and their objectives.
The US and UK have attacked Yemen. The pair of Western war powers struck Houthi positions in the country, saying the group has terrorised the key international trade route off its shores.
We will make sure that we respond to the Houthis as they continue this outrageous behaviour, along with our allies.
Are you going to call Houthis a terrorist group, sir?
I think they are.
Well, over the last month, we've seen a significant increase in the number of Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea, and it's why I made the decision with allies to take what I believe to be necessary, proportionate and targeted action against military targets to degrade and disrupt Houthi capability. We won't hesitate to protect lives and ensure the safety of commercial shipping.
The Houthis have said they would not step back, and any other US attack would trigger an even greater response.
American and British enemy bears full responsibility for its criminal aggression against our Yemeni people. It will not go unanswered and unpunished.
This isn't the first time America has attempted to bring the Houthis down. It previously backed Saudi Arabia, which tried for almost a decade to fight the group, but failed time and time again. For many across the world, the Houthis are the face of a winning resistance.
Love and respect to Houthi fighters. Fight the colonizers' imperialism bravely. Houthis are heroes. We respect the Houthis for what they fight for, a ceasefire and aid to be sent in. The West are the bad guys and the public is against them. So boycotts begin in US, UK. Embarrassing. I've lowered my hat and presented my respect to the Houthis, heroes of this great sacrifice.
So who are the Houthis? The group takes its name from the surname of its early leader. This is Hussein al-Houthi of the Houthi tribe. It came to prominence following a civil war in Yemen. Now, the turmoil in the country eventually led to the removal of President Salah. That was back in 2011. Now, he was replaced by a new government, which was backed by Saudi Arabia and the US. But the new president, Hadi, angered many, with plans to change the way that funds were being divvied up across Yemeni regions. Now, opposition groups, including the Houthis, claimed this would see the country's oil wealth confined to the two least populated provinces. The Houthis claimed that the government was corrupt and mismanaging the country. It took control of the capital, Sana'a, forcing President Hadi to flee and reigniting a civil war.
We are forming a revolutionary committee and a transitional national council, which will replace the now dissolved House of Representatives and the office of the president in transitional phase.
Things started to really heat up when Saudi Arabia and the US got even more involved. Now, as the Houthis' power expanded, they gained control over nearly all of the country's north. And as you can see, this land borders here with Saudi Arabia. The kingdom and other countries in the Gulf Cooperation Council offered their backing to President Hadi.
The security and stability of Yemen have been shaken by a coup that the Houthi militias carried out against the legitimate authorities. These developments also constitute a major threat to the security and stability of the region, and a threat to international peace and security.
Over 8 years, the Saudi-led campaign, initially launched with the moniker Operation Decisive Storm, bombed areas of Yemen held by the Houthis. It was supported with US logistics and intelligence, while an array of Western countries provided weapons to Saudi Arabia. The intervention helped push Yemen to the brink. What followed was a humanitarian disaster.
Yemen remains the world's worst humanitarian crisis. An estimated 4.5 million people are currently displaced. The risk of a large-scale famine in the country has never been more acute.
It was costly for the Saudis, too. It's estimated that the kingdom was spending some $200 million per day to sustain the air, ground and sea operation. But despite it all, the Saudis failed to make a dent on the Houthis' power and its military bases. Now, in 2022, a ceasefire was agreed. The Houthis have since consolidated holding control of much of the west and also the north of Yemen. Now, this is where up to 80% of the country's population lives, in these lands. And yet, despite the clear failure of the Saudi-led operation over many years, and one that was backed to the hilt by weapons from the West, here we are again. Western countries giving it a second shot and seemingly unable to learn the lessons from the past.
Political analyst Hussein al-Bakati says that while Washington's branding of the Houthis as terrorists will not make much of a difference for Yemen, it does show that the US is seeking to prolong the conflict.